Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Watchaholic. Oh my God. Today's episode is going to be so fun because I am so excited to talk about. I just want to really get into it, but what I really want to talk about today is Love is Blind Season 2. So the reunion just happened on this past Friday, and guys, I have thoughts about this whole damn season. I cannot wait to talk about it. Oh my God. So, first things first, I'm just going to talk about the overall opinion of this season for me. I want to talk about couples individually, what I've thought about them in the pods, what I've thought about them after the pods, who I was shocked that actually got married, who I was shocked didn't get married, and of course, I will be talking about this reunion because holy fuck, it was mind-blowingly crazy, but also at the same time very calm. So we had both takes here. So I'm really excited to kind of really talk about that. And of course, I will be talking about the fact that they unveiled a trailer for a new Netflix love show experiment called The Ultimatum. What in the actual hell? Netflix can't stop. Love is Blind. The producers, the creators are like, what else could we come up with? What else could we come up with? So I am super duper duper excited to talk about this. So first things first, I want to talk about, because this is an episode where I'm going to be talking about TV, I really want to talk about what I'm actually watching on TV right now. Comment down below. Let me know if you've watched this show yet. If you're thinking about watching it, let me know your comments. I mean, I've already heard a lot about this, but I am watching two things at the same time. I am watching Boba Fett, which I am the Book of Boba Fett on Disney Plus, which I am almost done. I'm on episode 5. I know there's only 7, I believe. So I will be doing a in-depth talk about that in one of the upcoming episodes because it's a very interesting show. I still don't know how I really feel about it. Another show that I am watching right now is RuPaul's Drag Race. And you don't know this yet, but guys, I am a huge RuPaul's Drag Race fan. I absolutely love RuPaul. I love everything about that show. I love everything it embodies. I love the joy, the positivity, the idea that if you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love anybody else? I mean, can I get an amen? Yes, you can get an amen. That show, I've been watching it. It's since season 1. I never watched it when it was like actually on TV. I just watched it on Netflix, and thank God it is on Netflix Canada, which I did not know. So if you're in the US, I don't think you can actually watch RuPaul's Drag Race on there. But if you are in Canada, yes, you can. And it is an amazing show, and I highly recommend. So I will be having a episode in the future where I talk about RuPaul's Drag Race in general, because obviously there's like 14 seasons. I think it's on its 14th season right now. So yeah, I can't talk about every single season, but I definitely just want to talk about the show in general because it brings me so much joy to just see people just like believing in themselves and finding out in this show like things about themselves, and just it's just a beautiful show, and I absolutely love everything it embodies. Now, what do I need to see still? We have a list of things that we still need to see that I have not seen. I have a list over here. Oh yeah, for those of you who are listening, I do have a YouTube channel as well. So if you ever are wanting to watch this instead of listen to it, just know that I do have a YouTube channel. You can find me at the Watchaholic Podcast. And for those that are watching me, hello there, hello. But I am still needing to see Cheer. I haven't seen Cheer. I saw Cheer season 1, and I haven't seen it yet. So I really need to see Cheer season 2, which I heard wasn't as good as season 1, but I do really, really want to watch it because I know there was a whole bunch of drama and everything that came out with Jerry, which was really heartbreaking because he was an amazing person, so we thought. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that. I also have not seen Emily in Paris season 2. I'm not a Emily in Paris stan. I know everybody like loves that show for the fashion, and yeah, it's pretty cheesy. But I should probably watch it, give it a watch, because I enjoyed season 1. But I wasn't like, oh my God, I need to watch season 2. But I will watch it. And now for what I am looking forward to. I talked about this in my last episode, but I am looking forward to Bridgerton season 2 that is coming out at the end of March, and I am also looking forward to Moonlight on Disney Plus that is also coming out at the end of March. Very different for Marvel, so I am really, really excited to see that because I have no idea what that show is about, but it looks intense and I'm ready for it. So are you guys interested in seeing these shows? Let me know. Comment down below. Send me a DM on Instagram. Whatever it is, just chat with me. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what what you're looking forward to, because I am really, really excited to watch these shows in the next coming weeks. So yeah, woo! Okay, so let's just get into it, guys. It is time to talk about my overall opinion of season 2 of Love is Blind. Now, I did watch season 1 a long time ago. Obviously, it feels like forever since Love is Blind season 1 came out, I feel. But y'all, everyone listening. I have to say that I think season 1 was much better than season 2. I think a lot of the couples were just not very well matched at all. I'm still really surprised by the marriages that happened. I'm not gonna lie, but we'll talk about that later. But holy shit. What a season. I enjoyed it. Obviously, it's the most ridiculous premise, the most ridiculous show. Like, literally, my boyfriend tells me that I'm like burning my brain cells every time I watch it, but I just can't look away. It's just so good. I can't look away, guys. I can't look away. It's so good. But I really, really did. I enjoyed it for what it was. I think, like I said, it is a ridiculous, crazy experiment, as they say, because it is an experiment. Like, can you fall in love with someone without seeing them in person? Like, and then you decide to marry them. Like, you will decide to marry someone after looking at them through a screen. Not looking at them, like looking at a screen as in like no one's there. There's like a wall between you and you're just hearing the person. That's mind-blowing. It's crazy. Does it actually work? It worked for spoiler alert, if you have not watched Love is Blind season 2, I'm just gonna let you know I'm gonna be talking about some spoilers here. So, spoiler alert if you didn't already know. We had 2 couples that made it through, and the rest did not. I believe other couples did try to date. At least that's what it was said in the reunion. But I don't know. I don't know if these couples are actually gonna last. There was no one in there that was like from season 1. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna make it, but we shall see. But guys, let's dive into let's talk about each couple individually. So first things first, I really want to talk about Mallory and Sal, because Mallory was clearly not into Sal at all, and I think the whole time she was trying to convince herself that she was. Comment down below if you really thought that Mallory actually loved Sal, because I do not believe it. I mean, guys, as soon as she saw him, her first thought was like, I'm not attracted to him. He's not like my type. Like, and it just felt awkward. Like, already right away you knew like this is not gonna work. Like, there was like, you could tell he was like so into her, and she was kind of like, ugh. Like, she had the ick. The ick. It is a thing. They talk about it in different shows and in other podcasts, and it's so funny because it is a thing. It's called the ick. It's kind of like one time you just see the person and something happens, and automatically you're just like, ugh. Like, you get the ick, and then it will never go away. And I think that's exactly what happened with Mallory. I think Mallory loved who was on the other side of that wall. She did fall in love with that personality, with that person. But in person, she was like, ugh. So every single time she kept saying like, oh, I love him. I'm like, girl, you are trying to convince yourself. You are trying to convince yourself, because I do not believe you. I do not believe you. But then it made me so sad, because Sal, you could tell he really cared about Mallory. I believed that he loved her. That is something I believe. Now, one thing I also believe is that I really wanted him to stop the singing. Did anyone else want him to stop the singing? Because God, I said, please stop. Don't stop singing. No more songs. No more songs. I was not a fan of the singing voice. I don't know if it was just me, but I was not a fan. Not a fan. That was not me. But yeah, they proposed, and I mean, there was that whole thing in the pods with Jared kind of proposing to Mallory first, and she's saying no, and I have my thoughts on that. So let's get into that one. Let's talk about Jared and Ayana next. So Jared and Ayana, they did make it to the end. They did get married, and they look like they are still married according to the Instagram, according to the socials. They look like they're still married. But I will say, I honestly thought she was going to say no at the altar, but she said yes. More on that later, but I thought she was going to say no. But man, she was second choice. She was second choice no matter how many times Jared will say, no, it doesn't matter. Like, I chose you in the end and I'm happy with you and I love you. Like, that would fucking torment me. I don't know. Would it torment you if, like, the guy that you got married to actually said, well, actually, I proposed to the other girl first, but she said no? Like, how? Like, how can you look away from that? Like, how? How? So, yeah, I wasn't a fan of that. I did not like the fact that I don't know, that would just not sit with me at all. That would not sit with me well. So props to Ayana for taking the leap on that. Ayana was nice. I liked her. I thought she was so cute. She looks very petite, and the fact that they were very different, I didn't know how it was going to go, but I really think at the end, you know, when they did make it home and they all went back to Chicago and lived their lives with the camera still there, but like, I still feel like I think Jared did want to marry her, even though all those things in the past did happen. I did feel like he really was very confident in their relationship and knew that he wanted to marry her. I never saw any doubts. The doubts were always coming from Ayana, as in like, oh, is he gonna be able to give up this crazy social life that he has, like hanging out super late, which granted, very true. Very different lifestyles, but I think he was ready to be like, okay, like I'm married, like I'm gonna hang out with my boys, but I can also hang out with my girl at home. So I don't know, I did see potential in that regard. So I'm hoping they got that down. So let's go into Nick and Danielle. I am shocked. They are, I think, the one that I'm most shocked that actually got married and still are together. I am shocked because I honestly thought he was going to say no at the end of that episode when they freaking did that cliffhanger on me. I was so pissed. But I was actually, I was like, oh, he's going to say no. Like, he was sweating at his wedding, guys. He was sweating so profusely that I thought he was sweating because he was nervous that he was going to say no. But I guess it was because he was just hot. I'm assuming. I mean, you could tell they had like their early wedding because it was hot as balls at that wedding. He was sweating through his suit. Like, he had a gray suit and he was sweating through it. I told my boyfriend, I said, honey, when we get married, there will be no sweating. And he said, well, you want to get married in the Caribbean? I said, that's true. So you will not be wearing gray then, because it was not a look. It was not a look. Not a good look. But guys, that girl is so insecure. I hope to God she is doing better now, because the way it was portrayed, maybe it was just portrayed wrong. The edits you get, it's reality TV, but my God, she just looks so insecure. Like, I couldn't take it. The fights that they were having were so ridiculous to me. Like, I'm like, why is she starting a fight literally out of nothing? These fights are literally happening out of nothing. When they had that fight, well, first of all, the first fight that they ever had was just so blown out of context. Like, I was like, why is she mad? Because he left to go do the reunion or to meet the other people? I mean, like, it was so stupid. And then it was even stupider, the fight that they had when they were meeting each other's parents, which you didn't see that scene or that moment. So when they were talking about it, I felt so like out of it because I had no idea what she was talking about. And it was just such a stupid fight. I was like, these people need to figure themselves out. Like, they need to figure themselves out, because I really just, no, it was very weird. I didn't think they were going to make it, and I'm shocked that they did. So next we have the biggest joke of all, Chyna and Kyle. I just, a moment of silence for the stupidity of that engagement. The stupidity. Like, why? And she acknowledged this at the reunion, but why would you say yes? Why say yes. I don't understand. Why would you say yes? Why? Oh my God, it was so stupid. It was ridiculous. And then they had that weird, like, when she said yes, and then she went and told Shane that she had feelings for him. I'm like, girl, everyone's gonna watch this back. Everyone's gonna watch this back. Ah, oh my God. Oh, sometimes when people are on reality TV, I'm like, guys, have you never seen reality TV? You're gonna watch this back, and everyone's gonna criticize you for what you just did. Guys, for those who are listening, I am literally bowing down my head in shame because I'm so disappointed that people just make such stupid mistakes. And then also Kyle was just too optimistic to think that this would actually work. I'm like, this girl is clearly super religious, is literally telling you, like, dude, this is not going to work. I am super religious and you do not believe in Christ. He's an atheist. For those who have not seen Love is Blind, he was an atheist, and she is, like, I think, like a devout Christian, I think. I'm not sure, but she's definitely very religious. And I was like, guys, this is ridiculous. This is never going to work. Can we move on to the next couple? And then they had this, like, really awkward breakup in Chicago, and then you just never saw them for the rest of the season until Chyna, like, showed up at another time just to fuck things up and be annoying. But really, just I was over it. I was over that relationship the moment she said yes. I'm like, this is stupid. And then we're moving on to Shane and Natalie. Okay, Shane and Natalie in the pods. Holy, every time Shane was on screen, I was like, red flag, red flag, red flag. Did anybody else start to think that there was red flags? Because everything that he said behind that screen when he was gaslighting Natalie was red flag. Such a red freaking flag. I just could not stand it. I did not like Shane in the pods. Now, outside of the pods, he grew on me a little bit. I did find it funny that he said he didn't believe in 401ks. That was very interesting and very funny. I was like, what do you mean you don't believe in 401ks? So you don't believe in saving your money or investing? Or, I mean, guys, not everyone's really good with their money. I'm learning. I'm still learning about investing. But to say that you don't believe in 401ks is an odd choice. An odd choice of things to say. But anyway, yeah, when they got out of the pods, I was like, oh, okay. He loves her. I can see this. Did they have a weird relationship? Yeah, like she was kind of, I don't know, they were weird. I did not believe, everyone, which was funny, everyone thought that they were, like, while watching, like, before the reunion, everybody would say, like, to the cameras behind the scenes, like, oh, they're definitely getting married. They're perfect for each other. And I'm like, are you watching the same people? Because I don't think this is good. And they did not get married. For those of you who did not know, she said no. And thank God she did, because it's just a red flag. Just walk away. Just walk away. And I'm glad she did. And speaking of walking away, we must end the topic of couples with Deepti and Shake, because holy fuck. Oh my God, Deepti and Shake. I mean, from the beginning, I did not like Shake. I never liked him. From the beginning to the end, he was a villain to me. I never believed once that he actually loved this woman. I felt so bad because Deepti was beautiful and just an amazing person. And, like, it was odd to me because, I mean, he was also being very, very, that masculine energy where he was all like, oh, can I lift you up? Like, how much do you weigh? All these things. I was just like all about looks when this is not what the experiment is about in the pods. As soon as he asked her, oh, will I have a problem lifting you or putting you on my shoulder? I said, I'm done. I am done. Take him out of this fucking experiment. I can't stand him. Goodbye. 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 That's literally how I thought. Goodbye. Okay. So then we had them eventually, they meet. They propose. She says yes. They meet. And he was like all over her. He was like grabbing her ass like really excessively and just like, oh, I'm gonna get you pregnant. We're gonna have babies. Like, it was like so sexual and uncomfortable to watch. And then like 3 episodes later, they're in Mexico, and he's just like, I think she's like my aunt. I think of her as my aunt. I'm not attracted to her. I'm not physically, but I'm like, dude. So were you just like in the moment, just doing it for the cameras? Because you looked like you were super attracted to her when you saw her. So what happened? I don't know. But my God, we'll talk about him later. But thank God Deepti like walked away and chose herself in the end because, guys, I can't imagine if like they got married and then she saw this on TV. I can't imagine like what the I don't know if they would have been together, but comment down below if you thought there was a chance that they would actually be together. Please. I want to know if there's anyone who actually thought like this, because holy fuck. I sure as hell am very glad they did not get married. Thank the Lord. Hallelujah. Okay, so let's talk about let's definitely talk about what was I gonna say? Let's talk about who I was surprised actually said yes or no, which I kind of covered a little bit, but let's go through the couples. I was definitely shocked that Nick said yes. I was shocked that Sal was the one who said no. That shocked me. I thought he would be the one to say yes and she would say no. I thought Ayana would say no, but honestly at the wedding, like as soon as they were like, the dad was walking her up and they were just like in such good spirits. I'm like, oh, they're both saying yes. Like you could just tell they were both going to say yes. They looked too happy. There was no thoughts of like hesitation there. Like I knew they were going to say yes right away. We had Shane and Natalie. As soon as it opened up and it was like, oh, we had a fight last night and he told me he hated me and all or eventually when you find out that he had said that he hated her and was like the worst thing that happened to him. I'm like, thank God she said no, because if the day before I got married, some like my boyfriend or my fiance would say, oh, I hate you, you're the worst thing that's ever happened to me, I'd be like, then why the fuck are we getting married? So thank you, Natalie, for walking away. But I knew right away she was gonna say, as soon as she was like looking at him, I'm like, oh, she looks like she's gonna say no. That looks like a no to me. That looks like a no. And then we have obviously Chyna and Kyle never made it there. But then we had Deepti and Shake at the wedding. I was surprised. I did not think that Deepti was gonna say no. I honestly didn't, now obviously watching it back, she's like, thank God I said no. But going up to it, I didn't feel that, especially when they were like at the altar. I didn't feel that from her. But when she said no, she walked away and Shake was like, this is a celebration, everyone. Get up. Everyone clap your hands. And was like, oh, this is great. Like, it was like something is clearly not right up here in the brain. Something was not right. You could clearly tell that he was just like obviously like faking this, because there's no way that you would be happy that you just got dumped on the altar on TV. There's no way that he had no remorse. There was no sadness. There was no anger. There was like how there's the whatever 7 stages, how many stages of grief. Was there, though? Was there any stage of grief? Because he just looked like he was just happy, galore. Everything was great. Was celebrating. Like, I'm like, dude, you just got dumped. He has some serious issues. And thank God Deepti walked. Thank God. Thank the Lord. Hallelujah. But okay, let's dive into the reunion, because this is the meat of the episode, the juice of the episode, guys. Okay. And then we're just going to start off with where we just ended. Excuse me. With Shake at this reunion, because oh my God. Another moment of silence for the most ridiculous behavior I have seen on a reunion show before. Guys, please let me know if you've seen another reunion show that was this freaking nuts from just one person, because aside from him, everyone else was pretty well composed, said what they needed to say. Everyone was really well composed. It was just Shake that was clearly on some other level of villainous life. I don't know what he was on, but my God. Guys, you want to know what he said? If you did not watch it, he said that the only person he was attracted to in the room was Vanessa, who is married to Nick, and Nick was there in the reunion. They were all being interviewed by them. And that was also the time where I was like, I actually really enjoyed this reunion also because of the fact that Nick and Vanessa are the hosts of this show. They also like were the ones asking the questions, obviously in the reunion. But like I actually felt that they were like really asking really great questions, and they were really like hitting like the right points, and then they were also like part of it. Like it wasn't just like, oh, we're here to read what's here. Like no, like they threw Shake under the bus. They said some shit to him that he needed to hear, and I'm so happy that Vanessa like called him out and told him that he was just on the wrong show. Like, and that Nick told him that he was just not a good human being or didn't like the way that he treated human beings. Like, they literally were not on script on that, and I applaud that. I applaud that to the end. I thought it was great. But I absolutely think that that man needs to see a therapist, because he clearly has a lot of like issues going on. Like, he kept interrupting everyone while they were talking. And the crazy thing is that everyone else there was no one backing him up. Like, you can tell that, like, everyone else also thought that the way he was acting was obnoxious and ridiculous. And then even watching the show back, like, they couldn't believe that he would say these things about the woman that he was going to marry. Like, for example, saying that he felt like he was with a family member, that he felt like she was an aunt. Like, how would you say that about somebody you're going to marry? Like, holy shit. Oh my God. So he was outrageous. I just could not believe the shit that was coming out of his mind. And then he said, yeah, you're right. I wasn't on Love is Blind. I should have been on Love is Blurry. I said, Love is Blurry? Oh my, everyone just couldn't, like, they were like, and my favorite was Deepti. Like, they would put the camera on Deepti, and Deepti would just have like these like side comments to either Natalie or Chyna about how she couldn't believe how ridiculous he was. And I mean, everyone was thinking it was absolutely fucking nuts. Nuts, I tell you, nuts. But something else I really wanted to talk about with that reunion was Sal and Mallory. Now, bless Sal, because you could tell he's a very respectful gentleman. And he wanted to say some shit, but he held back, and he was like, I'm going to keep that to myself. And honestly, I don't know about you. Let me know in a comment below. Let me know in a DM. Let me know. Did you wish you knew what happened? Because some shit went down between Sal and Mallory after it. Because, to be honest, they were the couple when Sal said no. But afterwards, there was a very nice conversation, a very mature conversation between both of them about how he just didn't have enough time and he just wasn't ready. And I really appreciated that. I felt like out of all the couples, at least the ones that said no, they were the only ones that had like an actual like mature conversation as to why this wasn't working. And then they just said, you know what, let's see if it can work after. I felt very confident for them. I was very like, oh wow, mature. They both talked it out. It was sad, but they both held hands and walked away. And then they said, let's see if we can date. And then you get to the reunion show and you're like, something definitely happened. I mean, they said that they met up for coffee and then they just decided like it just wasn't right. But I don't know. It looked like Sal had something to say, but he was refusing to say it. If you're telling me, I don't know. It sounded like it. I don't know. Let me know if you think I'm crazy, because I really think that he had some shit to say. There's something that they're not saying. But they didn't want, good for them for not airing their dirty laundry. So good for them. Good for them. I also wanted to talk about, and everyone's talking about this, there's so many memes about Chyna's face throughout this whole, anytime somebody was saying something that she was like confused about or like didn't really believe, she would do this kind of like squinting thing. For those who can't see me, she would do like the squinting thing where she was like she couldn't, like, it was so freaking funny. Just I swear I think BuzzFeed has an article about this, about her face during the reunion, because it's fucking hilarious. It is so freaking funny. So check that out, because it's funny. I laughed. And then someone else I want to talk about is Shane during this reunion. And I thought Shane looked like he was very nervous. He looked like he was also like on some sort of drug. I don't know. It was very weird. Whatever happened between him and Natalie was also very private. Like, they didn't really want to talk about it. It was very interesting. Like, he clearly said some things that he didn't mean to say, but that obviously changed everything, which is what Natalie was saying, is everything, whatever happened that night before, which is still a mystery, other than the fact that he obviously said that he hated her, don't know what she said to provoke him or whatever it was. Supposedly there were drinks involved. He had been drinking a lot. But even if there's drinks involved and you're going to marry someone the next day, you should never, ever talk to someone like that. Like, ever. Sober or not. Like, it's just, you don't talk like that to someone who's going to be your wife. But I don't know. And then he was kind of like, oh, well, I don't think I should take all the blame. Like, I feel like you're just making me out to look the bad guy. And Natalie's over there, like, crying. I'm like, dude, you're the one who said you hated her for whatever the reason was. Like, even if you're drunk, I am an avid believer that when you are drunk, you say the things that you actually want to say. I don't care if you're like, oh, I was drunk, I didn't mean it. Your subconscious was telling me something. Just saying. I don't think he hated her, but there was definitely something going on underneath that he just wasn't really saying the truth, in my opinion. But yeah, I don't know. He looked very on edge in that reunion. He was funny too when he would just like, because he was sitting next to Shake and he would just be like, oh my God, dude, like, shut up. Like, what is wrong with you? And it was funny. But whenever he was in the hot seat, you could tell he was just very nervous, didn't know what to say. He was very jittery. It was just a little bit weird. It almost felt like he was on something. I don't know if that's true, but it just looked like that. And then it looks even more weird. Guys, let me know. Does anybody know if, like, Chyna and Shane, like, did they do something? Because when Nick and Vanessa asked, like, hey, did you guys meet up before this? And then they were like, yeah. And then he was like, in his tracks, like, didn't know what to say or do, and he was like touching like his legs because he was like very nervous. And then Chyna's just like, I don't know why he's acting like that. Like, nothing romantically happened. And she was so calm, but he was not. And I don't know. I was like, was someone lying? Like, what's going on here? I don't know. But yeah, I don't know what was going on there, but it was fucking nuts. And I want to know more. If you know anything, comment down below. Let me know if you know anything. Comment down below because I want to know for sure. Yeah. So my last thoughts on the season in general are: I thought it was a good season. Wasn't my favorite. Do I hope there's gonna be a Love Is Blind season 3? Yes, for my own enjoyment, because I love watching this ridiculous premise about finding love. Excuse me, I just burped. I'm so bad. Like, the show's premise is ridiculous, and I absolutely love every second of it. So if there is Love Is Blind season 3, yes, I will be watching. And yes, I am actually really looking forward to see if these couples actually make it. I don't know, everyone can be the Hamiltons. Just saying. The Hamiltons from season 1. No one can be them. So we shall see. But before I go, I want to talk about one last thing, which is the lovely little premiere episode or premiere trailer that they put at the end of the reunion, which is a new show called The Ultimatum. And guys, now this show looks absolutely nuts and ridiculous, and the premise is, I don't know if I actually like this premise, but basically it's couples that one person in the relationship is ready to get married and the other person isn't. So what they do is, it's another experiment. There's all these other couples there, and basically you will choose another person in the group to move in with and, like, not date, but kind of like see what your life would be with this other person. And then at the end of the experiment, or at the end of the however many weeks it is, 7 weeks, whatever it is, you have to decide if you want to go back with that other person or not and lose them forever. And I'm like, so is it for you to find out, like, oh no, like, there's only one person for me and I want to marry that person? And then, or is it like, what is it? Like, I want to know really, like, what will people get from this? I'm really, really intrigued. It's called The Ultimatum because obviously, like, clearly that person wants to get married and the other person doesn't. Why don't they want to get married? I don't know. And I'm also looking forward to seeing what the type of, like, dynamics these couples are. Are these, like, couples that have been dating for, like, years and he's just not ready to commit? Or is it people who are mentally like, oh, we're dating but I want to get married, and that person doesn't believe in marriage? Or, like, they're like, I don't see us getting married. You know, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what that dynamic with the relationships or couples will be. But anyway, that is the end of this Love Is Blind episode, guys. Let me know what your overall thoughts on the season were. Like I said, I will be watching Love is Blind season 3. If it comes, I will be there. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being here. Please don't forget to subscribe if you're listening. And obviously, please send me a review or rate this podcast or like this podcast if you are listening via YouTube. But I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye.